And we're back. So we're going to do a spoiler discussion now for Top Gun Maverick. Alright, so if you haven't seen the film yet, just be warned, or if you don't mind getting spoilers for a film, I'm
not going to hold back, so
No.
yeah. And I don't really know what a spoiler is and is not, so there might be a lot of stuff going on here.
Well, we're going to talk about
Everything.
anything we want with the film. So we're going to put a giant big red text thing warning here saying spoiler. You've been warned. All right. So, what was your biggest laugh of the film, considering you found it so comedic?
I think at the end there's a moment when Tom Cruise has sacrificed himself, or Maverick has sacrificed himself to save the character, Rooster, who is the son of Goose, who appeared in the first.
If Rooster has a kid, what's it going to be named? Like Chick?
You think at least Goose would be Gosling. What's a baby goose?
A Gosling, yeah.
Yeah. So
they should have got Ryan Gosling to play him. Maybe he's a little bit too old. That would have been amazing. Oh, yes.
Anyway, so Maverick had sacrificed himself for Rooster and has been shot down, and they're in enemy territory, and he is spotted, located by a helicopter gunship, I guess, and he has tried to hide behind a tree trunk, a fallen tree trunk.
A tree trunk that is apparently made of bulletproof wood.
And the helicopter comes around the tree trunk and is like, ready to go.
Yeah.
And that made me laugh because I was like, not having ever been in a war, you probably are trying to hide wherever you can. But, a tree trunk.
What chance does Tom Cruise think he has against a gunship? Who does he think he is? The Rock?
But, spoiler, joke's on the gunship because he is saved by Rooster coming back. And
a missile, just in time.
Sacrificing himself to... which is, again, ridiculous. There's a lot in there that's ridiculous. I said to Alex, like, the US Navy would not be as, not the efficient a fighting entity. Arguably, they're not, but it wouldn't be as good as they are if they had people entirely made up of the people that were in this movie, because they are disregarding orders left, right and centre. They're randomly going after their friends, even when, as per the Rooster saving Maverick move, that would have lost two planes.
F-18s, yeah.
Yeah, F-18 from the Navy. So what a loss of resources. Seems ridiculous, but it still looks great.
Then there was Hangman, who defied orders and saved Rooster and Maverick when they were flying away on the quote museum piece F-14 ship, trying to get away from a 5th gen fighter versus an F-14. You're crazy.
I also laughed then when they stole the Legacy fighter plane from the enemies, which involved them having to run across a burning air base.
Yep.
And miraculously, this Legacy plane was fueled and had all of its weapons and was loaded up with, bullets and flares and all that sort of stuff.
Thank you, script writers.
Ridiculous. And even if Hangman had been given orders by the Navy to go and save Maverick and Rooster, they wouldn't have sent him off alone. That's just ridiculous as well. You'd at least send off, several other planes.
Well, they've got a lot of screens in the control room to look at, and they were concentrating on these ones over here, and Hangman was hanging around on these ones over here, and they
he wouldn't be able to take off that ship without a lot, you saw at the beginning, they had to have several ground crew to assist them getting off the ship.
Well, maybe he
couldn't have just taken a plane.
Maybe he just flashed that winning smile at them and winked, and they said, "Oh, okay, I'll do whatever you want."
They were good-looking people.
Oh yeah, and speaking of which, the tribute to the beach volleyball scene in this film is amazing. I think Hangman actually has the best body out of the male characters.
I have to agree to disagree on that. I don't think he does, but whatever. I can't remember the name of the guy who I think has a better body, so I can't point out who it was.
Payback.
Payback. Potentially.
And it's really bad that I don't remember the name of the two
Hondo? No.
No, that was his partner. He had his shirt on
the whole time.
Yeah. Out of the pilots, out of the people with the supposed really ripped bodies, poor Bob. He was the only one to not get his shirt off, and also to not have a call sign. He's just called Bob. But apparently, that is a bit of an inside joke. You were saying because
I was just watching another, which I'm sure Alex might link to in the note.
I will do.
Link to down below. I was watching another review by actual pilots, and they were saying it's some sort of inside joke with people like Bob in the Navy.
Because I can't remember what specific position he said that he held. But
something to do with the people essentially the navigators and the
But with the dialogue, with like the F-14 versus 5th Gen fighter. I mean, it is corny, cheesy dialogue, but I think it really fit the tone that they were going for and the tone of the whole film overall. It really was, I thought, a throwback to the sort of cheesy 90s and 80s action films. It just didn't feel like one of the stock standard action films that are made these days. And that in and itself was really refreshing.
And it was helped along in its sort of 80s vibe with the placement of music just randomly. Like in random places it probably didn't need to be. That these days they wouldn't put it, but next minute you've got, Highway, what is it called? What's that one?
Danger Zone. The film opens with Danger Zone, and then it has that like guitar, electric guitar theme that the first film had. Just randomly pops into the scene, and also I think like it's like either someone beating a bass drum or just playing a bass guitar really sort of slowly. It's like boom, 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 doom, 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 doom. Just really, like, it's building up to a wonderful crescendo, and that may be due to Hans Zimmer, because he's like that sort of doom, doom.
But going back to the scraps,
music,
I think my favourite line. So the line that they keep repeating over and over again to Rooster, because apparently he thinks too much and he needs to be more intuitive with his flying, was like, "Don't think, just do." And by the time, I think the fourth, because then Tom Cruise hits up Rooster when he comes to save him and said, "What are you doing? What were you thinking coming to save me?" And Rooster said, "I wasn't thinking. You told me not to think. I was just doing." Or so you told me not to think, just do.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, okay, no, that's what they've brought to the script. They obviously didn't think when they're writing the script because it's rubbish.
Maverick had egg on his face, didn't he? Because Rooster did exactly for Maverick what Maverick would have done for someone else.
And then the US Navy lost 2 planes worth probably $1 million each. Well done them.
Yeah, but they gained back a Maverick. And a Rooster.
And a Rooster doesn't really have the same.
A Rooster. So I can't remember if any other returning characters appeared in this film, but the only other one that I can think of is Val Kilmer's Iceman. He appeared in one scene. It was so good. So they were texting each other a few times throughout the film, and then Maverick goes to visit him when he has a moment of doubt, or like a crisis moment.
I actually can't remember. See, this is the thing. Like, it doesn't really make sense in the little bits and pieces.
No, because
is he about to be fired?
His relationship has continued to be strained with Rooster because of Rooster blaming Maverick for getting Goose killed.
I think, isn't it because he has been removed from training them, and then Iceman wants to visit him, partly to say goodbye because, spoiler, he's dying, but also because he wants to try and help him, because throughout the whole... The storyline is that, or the plot is that throughout his entire career, Iceman has basically saved his ass, and every time Maverick does something ridiculous, like steal a plane, or, disobey orders, or whatever.
Yeah!
Things that would have got you discharged from the Navy, Iceman stepped in and looked after him.
Doesn't Maverick only get fired after Iceman dies, because Iceman is no longer there to protect him?
I can't. No, because didn't he... Oh, no, I'm getting mixed up with Jennifer Connelly. You're right. See, this is the thing. It's not memorable. I can't get things in order because it doesn't make sense. It's just like random little scenes.
I mean, the plot is secondary to the cheesy dialogue and the fun banter between the characters,
It's fun,
and then the action sequences. It really is like in every way 90s or 80s cheesy action film.
It's ridiculously enjoyable.
Yes. And I'm glad I went to see it on a big screen as well. That was good. It needs to be enjoyed. Unfortunately, we haven't got an IMAX cinema in Perth anymore, so... Oh, God. Whatever. Right. A device I really liked them using throughout the film was the little computer program where they were simulating what the final mission was, because it was basically this underground uranium facility that was in sort of...
in an unnamed enemy territory, which they never really dwelt on, but would have started a war with that territory. The mission that they're on...
Well, it goes along with what it was like in the first film, because when they were making the first film, the US Army the US Navy, specifically asked that they don't name who the enemy was, especially don't name it as Russia or anything like that. And look how far we've come.
But I couldn't understand, did they actually properly explain why they couldn't use unmanned or unwomaned drones or planes to drop the bombs? Because it was set up as this like horrifically difficult mission involving, twists and turns along a canyon, then a steep climb, and then a roll, and then back into effectively the crater of a volcano, dropping a bomb with precision, and then steep dive out the other side. And I think I might have missed it if they'd explained why they couldn't do, because surely it would have involved...
That's a good question.
...less danger.
Was it too reliant on personal instincts in the moment? Do computers think too much and they don't do enough?
No.
There you go. Whole mantra of the film debunks the possible use of drones in this film. So go to the Navy, or maybe the Navy's budget doesn't include unmanned drones.
The American Navies.
Yeah. Because, I mean, they are still using F-18s, and the unnamed countries' forces use 5th-gen fighters, which are awesome. I really like that, because in the third act in particular, in the final mission, you could really track clearly at what stage each of the 4 planes were at. So that was a very good device. And then it's because with you seeing throughout the film how treacherous the path was or whatever, you were really keyed into the stakes of that final mission, even though Maverick had done it in 2 minutes 15. It was like, yeah. That's why they needed Maverick, because he proved it could be done. Because that was awesome. Tom Cruise is such a great actor at this kind of role.
I don't think he afterwards I said to you that I don't think I can remember him actually having any dialogue. He looked a lot like at Jennifer Connelly, and then she'd be like, "Don't look at me like that." And then he also just spoke in terms of instructions, but in terms of meaningful dialogue with another character, even Rooster.
He had the scene with Iceman.
He spoke at... Iceman was literally typing on a computer. That's not dialogue. Iceman's typing back.
No, but from Tom Cruise's side it was dialogue.
Yeah, but...
Yeah. I really like the end of their interaction where...
Grasping at straws, man.
Iceman says, so, just a minute, who was the better pilot? And Maverick goes, this is a nice moment. Let's not ruin it.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite good. Now, I like the scene on the boat, or on the sailing, on the yacht, where it's sort of poked fun at that the ridiculousness of Maverick being in the Navy but having no idea what to do when on a simple yacht. And Jennifer Connelly's character, Penny, I think her name was.
Yeah, Penny.
She was directing him around, and she was all in the know, and this guy was all Lost at sea.
And I think that this scene exemplifies my issues with this movie because, like, yes, it's a good point to make that a lot of pilots in the Navy don't actually know how to sail a ship or a boat or whatever they call it. Fair call. You didn't need to spend 5 to 10 minutes on a boat with Jennifer Connelly randomly she's having to sail her boat to, like, have it serviced, I think, and then needs to get back.
Really?
It was something like that, like, because her daughter was supposed to go, and then... See, this is what I'm saying. Why were they on a boat? Who the knows why they were on a boat? They were on a boat so that they could make the point that Tom Cruise doesn't know anything about boats. Ridiculous. Waste of time. Should have given that to a relationship between Rooster and Maverick. Or Hondo and Maverick.
It was definitely worth the joke, I think. I'm very forgiving of this film, because this film had me so early and it never... let go. I was really surprised by how much how much I was invested and affected by this film.
No, well, because that's the opening scene, for example.
Yeah.
I was laughing from the opening scene because the opening scene is Tom Cruise in this disused ex-Navy hangar with his own, obviously, personal plane, fixing it up, conveniently wearing a shirt which shows his biceps, so that he's conveniently fixing something above his head, which allows him to clench said biceps and us to admire his arms and physique. And then at the end, they do a callback to that because they're back in the hangar, but this time he's with Rooster because, spoiler, neither Maverick nor Rooster died despite being shot down in enemy territory and having to steal an enemy plane to get back. Ridiculous. But they're back in this hangar and they're both fixing it together. But again, only Tom Cruise has the short sleeves, even though Miles Teller arguably has a better physique and is younger, so we would rather see his physique. But no, his sleeves are too long, so we can't see them. Tom
Cruise has top billing, goddammit. Once Miles Teller puts in the miles and once he puts in that hard yards and earns that sort of superstar status that Tom Cruise has, then he can show off his guns. Yeah. Now, speaking of, like, Tom Cruise's physique, I was actually surprised that there were a few shots in the film where you clearly saw him being a lot shorter than the other characters. Conveniently, it wasn't done around Jennifer Connelly, who I would think is...
She must be taller than him.
Is taller than him, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But I don't recall that happening very much in another film, because it's the running joke that Tom Cruise is so short, but in all these films, it's But
that's what I was actually thinking.
Showing him to be equal size.
Don't you have to be quite short to be a fighter pilot? I vaguely remember having grown up near Air Force Base that in order to be a pilot in fighter jets, you should be quite short. So it might be benefits that Tom Cruise is shorter. I don't know though. Well, I would have to check that.
He should keep on making Top Gun movies for the rest of his life then, just so he's in his element as
it's justified.
As the short ass he is. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No. It was fun, despite my concerns about the script, the use of Jennifer Connelly. The ridiculousness of some of the plot points. It still was fun, and I would recommend you go to it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, really, really fun. See it in the theatre if you can. You probably only have a couple more weeks to catch it there, but highly recommend it. Great fun. If you can get a little bit tipsy before the film, go for it, because I think that'll heighten it even more if I go see it again.
Oh jeez, you're probably bawling at certain points then.
I'll get my buzz on beforehand. Alrighty. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this spoiler discussion for Top Gun Maverick. I hope you enjoyed the discussion and the banter in this review. Thank you for joining me once again. Much obliged. Please like the video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and we'll see each other again very soon. Thanks. Bye.